Hi Rahul, how are you?
Good, Usman. Yes. Uh,
All right, perfect. So, okay, I think the live is started now.
yeah, I think let's wait for 1 to 2 minutes
Yeah,
so
few people
when
to
people
start. Yeah.
start joining. Then yeah.
I think we're not live on Insta yet, so I think we'll be joining there as well. All right, Rahul. So, okay, so Rahul and Rabia, since you both are here, okay, so tell me something. I had a question from a client last night. Basically, he emailed me. Basically, his question was like, he owns a hair salon. Okay, so the question was that if I own my own hair salon, can I sponsor my own wife as a hairdresser? Rabia, Rahul, anyone? Rabia, we can hear you. You, Rahul, you're mute.
Yeah, she's still not audible. So yes.
Yeah.
For this question, I would say it depends on few factors. Firstly, like
Mm-hmm.
whether our partner is eligible for the hairdresser or not. Yes, so for some the assessment is required. Sometimes the assessment is not required. For that one, we can check. But again, like when you are sponsoring your own siblings or like relatives and all, it's a very critical thing. Like you cannot directly sponsor your for that one.
Own family
You
member. Yes.
will yes,
Correct. Correct. That is true. That
Can
is
you
true.
hear me now?
Yes, we can.
yes,
We
we
can.
can hear
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I was
And
going to
Rabia,
say the same thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
please, Ganesh.
that you can't actually, you're not supposed to sponsor family
Because
members.
this visa program is for that people like who are looking for a genuine need, and like let's say when you will going to sponsor your own family, so then it will raise the question whether you are a genuine or like you really
That
want
if
to
you
get this
have a
visa for this.
genuine need for that
Yes,
employee or not. So, of course.
yes,
Yeah, that is true. That
it
is
will be
true.
very challenging. Yes, but
Okay. Okay. So, Rabia, okay. So, if so, we have a lot of queries about people who are basically on a like like they want to be sponsored by their company. The main question they face is basically how much basically how do you see the company's like like financial capacity, like how do we know that X company X is eligible to sponsor someone? Is there any metrics you check into? Like for example, if your client is
So,
sitting in front of you, what would you ask them?
so generally speaking, you have to check the financial viability of the company, you know.
Okay.
So there's no fixed amounts for this, that, oh, they have to have this much turnover or this much profits or something like that. There's nothing like that. You have to check according to the occupation, according to that company, like if let's say somebody is sponsoring a motor mechanic, we're not, obviously if it's a garage, we're not expecting them to have, a very big, like 8 million turnover or something. But
Yes.
if it's like a big company, they're sponsoring an engineer, then we're expecting them to have like a very healthy turnover. So this is something we have to check according to each company. It's specific. It's a specific scenario. We have to check how financially viable the company is. Do they have any losses? Are they in the green? Are they in the red? These sort of things. So it's very company
Okay. Okay.
specific.
So okay. So what do you say? Like if there's two companies, one company has $5 million revenue sales, but they made a loss of let's say uh, $500,000. But there's another company which is only $2 million revenue, but they have 15,000 only $15,000 profit. So which do you think will be assessed more positively?
So if the company that has a bit of loss, they can still sponsor somebody, and you can actually get grants for these things. It just depends. If they can show, let's say proof from an accountant showing how much their financial profitability in the future, whether they're a going concern, these sort of factors, they can definitely sponsor. So this is like an example of case by case basis. The other company, they could potentially sponsor as well. It just depends on the occupation and all. Obviously, if the profit is a little bit low, then and the overall turnover is also low, so in comparison, it might be a little bit of a weaker case. So
Okay.
definitely, the one with the higher turnover, it would be better.
but as long as they will be able to support the role, like they will be able to pay him for the future, and then they can prove that the position is genuine, so they can
Yeah,
still go ahead. It's not there is a no thumb rule like if it's into the loss or that much of profit, that time only will get a
yeah.
grant.
There's
It's
no
not like
fixed
that.
rule on these things.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Got it. Got it. Okay. And also, I have one more question. Like, for example, if the company uh, is very new, like 6 months old only, so will they be able to sponsor someone?
I think so,
Yes,
yes,
they
as
can.
long as the
Yes, they
business
can.
is operating in Australia, and like they can have SBS approval, which they can after maybe 3 months as well. Generally, there is a no. Also, again, there is a no thumb rule like when they can start sponsoring people or not. But for that one, they should have a sufficient proof to apply for the SPS as well, such as like they have lost their GST, and because generally after 3 months, when then 3 months is complete, so they can lose the GST, and that time they can show how much they are going to prove the profit or loss. So according to that, definitely they can go ahead with this as well, because when the
Okay.
sometime a new business as well, they required some employees as well, and they are not able to find in in Australian current market, so they are allowed to hire.
Okay, that's very helpful. Okay, so Anna, I have a question for you. So basically, like a lot of people want to do masters of research. Okay, so now masters research basically is a very popular course right now. So can you explain like what are the advantages of doing masters research? Because there are a lot of students right now who've done, let's say, MBA or any kind of masters, and now they want to go for masters of research. So what are the potential benefits we can get out of a course like that? Anna, we can't
Oh,
hear you.
Anna, we can't hear you.
Am I audible now?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay, so I'm saying the very first advantage is that if someone has done already masters in Australia and they don't want to apply for 485 visa and they want to go ahead with a new student visa. So technically we have to give them something which is an upgraded course. So from visa point of view, masters in business research is a very good option. And secondly, the applicant will get full working rights. So that is the advantage based upon his previous studies. He can do full time, and he can claim points for the experience as well in future. And upcoming way we are having July intake, and the requirements are very low. It's just 6.5 overall, not less than 6, and we can provide you that admission very easily. And they are the
Okay.
colleges options which are available, which are a bit flexible now, so we can put the admission there now.
So anything in Sydney, like any college which is like, what's the cheapest option? Let's put it like this. This is the most common question we get.
Yeah,
Masters of Research, the cheapest version per semester. What would you think? Yeah.
it would be 11,000 per semester.
Okay, but you do get full working rights and you do get extra 10 point.
If
Is
it's
this the one in the
ICT
STEM?
research, if it's
Yeah.
ICT research or STEM, then only the applicant will get 10 points. If it's normal, generic masters in business research, then no, there is no points. Only full working
Okay.
rights.
Fair
Yeah,
enough. Fair enough. Okay. Okay. And Anna, one more question that we get a lot of, like a lot of questions these days is basically, uh, uh, a lot of people want to do trade courses. Okay,
correct.
but they are very confused what kind of trade course to do. Like because some are like kind of stuck with motor mechanic or something automotive technician. Some want to do carpentry. So, is there any like particular courses you think is particularly focused towards more towards PR in terms of all of these within the trade? What's the best for?
I believe after the COVID, the construction industry is quite booming, and trade courses like carpentry, painting, fabrication, these are and these are something which are in demand, and we can get the invitation with lesser points. All you need is to have a relevant experience. So in that case, I would highly recommend to go with these kind of courses.
Okay, so basically anything to do with building and construction,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Yeah. Perfect. So that brings me to you, Rahul. So Rahul, with building and construction, what are some of the occupations you can mention to our audience? So like if someone wants to do building construction, are there like 4 or 5 different occupations you can mention?
Yeah, so as Anna mentioned, like this courses are already into demand, and as per the current election agenda as well, they want to put more houses into the market. The government also on the same plan.
Hopefully,
They need
yes.
more construction
Yeah.
people and into
Yeah.
this industry. So better if you will do any course related to this, so that will be beneficial for you. Also, there are the multiple courses available such as cabinet making, wall and floor tiler, bricklayer, carpenter. Number of the occupations are available in this course, and then the good thing about this is more or less they are onto the same prices, something around 10 to 12,000 dollars you can find. And this one you can do it for the 2 years, maybe you can do in the fast track as well for the 1 year as well, but definitely you will have to find a job for a
So
12
ten
months
thousand
into the
dollar per
same.
year is quite good actually. Yeah, because 10,000 would
Yeah,
translate into like 8,500 or 850 per month or something. So it's not too hard to manage for the students as well, I think. Because for the student,
yes.
it's very important to manage the cost of living and everything.
And as like clients, when they come to us, we always ask them in which field you can find a job. Like let's say if somebody
Yeah.
can find a job as a wall and floor tiler, so we will not recommend you to do him a carpentry, because
True,
he
true,
can
very
get the
true.
invitation onto the same points onto that occupation as well. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
coming to
work
the point, how
experience
many
is a
points?
critical
yes,
component.
So the points is always around 65 to 70 points in this occupation. As NSW round recently happened, so people got invitation onto the 75 or 80 points as well. But as long as you have 70 points, you are into this range, you have a good chance.
That's
And
really good. That's really true. Yeah. And I think even
and
Western
people
Australia
with
has
that kind of
clearly mentioned they want to
profiles are
offer.
like a hotcakes for all the states. Everyone wants to grab them. If you will go to the Western Australia, you will
True.
be to the demand. You will go to any state. So construction occupation professional will be
No,
always
I
be in
agree.
demand.
I think with construction, building, anything to do with building and construction is going to be in demand for a number of years to come. As because I think the government has made it very clear, whichever government comes, whether it's Labour or Liberal after the election, doesn't really matter. Housing supply will boom. So that's something, and if the housing supply is booming, then automatically more houses are getting made, more infrastructure is getting put in. So automatically it will increase the demand of the tradies. They are the ones who are the backbone of this industry. So that's very true. So now coming to so Rabia, so for let's say anyone who's done something like, let's say, social work or community service, so do you reckon that it's still a good course to follow up on right now? Because a lot of people uh, don't want to do community service anymore because the points have gone up quite drastically. It used to be 65
Yeah.
points, now it's at 80 points. But social work, do you think that's still a good option?
Social work is definitely a good option. In the last 189 round, people got invitations at 70 points. So it's definitely a very prospective option. One of the main things for social work is that for the assessment, you do need like an IELTS 7 each, which can be sometimes a bit hard for some people to achieve. So that's why it's not a course that's for everybody. But if you have a decent, good English and you can achieve this much score, it's definitely a very prospective pathway. And there are jobs available as well. And compared to community worker, I do believe that social workers, they generally get better pay as well. And there's a job demand as well. So it's a very
True.
prospective pathway to take. I would say, like, with along with teaching and all, it's definitely one of the good options if you're studying in higher education. Going for like a master of social work or like a bachelor's of social work is a good option.
True,
I
true.
want to add
So
one
just
more
that
thing
thing.
in. If
So
anyone
just
is
one thing I need to add. I need to add one thing. Guys, anyone who's watching us on Facebook or Insta, please feel free to write a question to us or get added to the call. We can have a discussion like in terms of your basically your profile or something. So if you can just write on your profile, we are happy to answer. If you have any question, we'll try to answer anything and we'll take it from there. Yeah, sorry, Rahul, you continue. Yeah.
So another benefit of doing the Bachelor of Social Work is as well, not only you will get the assessment as a social worker, sometimes you can get a assessment into the other occupation as well. Community service depends on like the
Yeah.
courses like which you have done. So
Yeah,
in
this is
you
for,
can
I
tackle both.
guess,
Yes.
sorry. Yeah, this is, I guess, for people, if they're not able to get that IELTS 7 each, they can consider the
Yes.
alternative option of going for community worker assessment as well. So at least you have some option available for you that leads to PR. But
And
yes, definitely it's
nowadays,
most beneficial to go with social worker if you can.
and people who are
So that
working
brings
into
me
the
to
disability
the most
sector,
important question. Yeah, please,
yeah, you can
please
go ahead,
continue. Yeah.
Usmani. So
Yes, I
people
just
who are
wanted
working
to.
into the disability
Right.
field, so it's a really good for them. At least if they don't want to do the Bachelor of Social Work because it's a 4 years degree, they should continue with the Bachelor of Community Service. As long as you will be working into your own field, you're doing this degree, you will always be in a good position rather than doing some other courses.
That's great. So just a
Definitely.
question that brings you to Anna. So Anna, as a student counselor, as a senior student counselor with us, obviously you get help students with admissions and everything. So can you please guide us like in terms of, let's say, admission? Let's say someone is in Sydney, okay, and they want to get admission to social work. So what are the prerequisites they look for in a student? And number two, how much basically how much time would it take to complete? We again can't hear you.
Audible now?
Perfect. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so if someone wants to take admission in Master of Social Work qualifying, as the word say qualifying, so that means they are expecting certain units, cognate units, which you must have studied in your past bachelor's. So you must have done bachelor, no associate degree or diploma is accepted while at the time of getting admission. So they check whether you are a background from humanities, whether you have studied psychology, human behavior, or something. So they have set of 8 units which is prescribed prescribed by AASW, which is the skill assessment body of social work, which is called Australian Association of Social Work. So if you are having the relevant unit studied, they'll give you direct admission in Master of Social Work, which will be for 2 years. And they only expect 7 each, either in IELTS or either in PT. So both are accepted. Even if you are having a TOEFL score, that is also acceptable. So once you are having that complete unit studied, they'll give you the admission. But if you are not having that unit previously studied, let's assume you have only matching 4 units. So they'll give you admission in grad certificate leading to masters. But if you have not studied anything and it's completely a non-cognate background, so they'll give you 1 year grad diploma and leading to masters. So technically it will be a 3 year degree. So many of the students get confused, like they have studied 1 year grad dip, so are they getting any sort of credit transfer for their masters? No, that was something which was a prerequisite, which was required to get admission in Master of Social Work. So yeah, this is something which have to be kept in mind at the time of
That's very
admission.
very informative. So okay, so in terms of basically let's say so Ravi, I want to divert it towards you. So basically, in terms of engineering occupations, what's the current trend you're noticing in terms of the invitation?
So in terms of engineering, generally because construction is, a very priority occupation right now, then comparatively civil engineering and all is one of the more prominent ones that are, being targeted. Like states like
And
Western
how
Australia
and
have
how many
given them
points?
priority as well.
Yeah, and how many points is it taking right now in terms of invitations? Like,
So generally speaking, for most for most engineering occupations, it would be at like around 85 points or so.
yeah,
So it's
all
a
right.
little
So
bit,
okay,
yeah,
yeah.
sure, go
No,
ahead.
it's a little bit competitive, even though it's
Yeah,
85, but it's still we can't expect invitation for everyone because there's still an element of luck with 189 because 189 is not very regular, unfortunately. So that's the
yeah,
thing. So
yeah.
that's why states will always invite a little higher right now because the people have been accumulating. The last round for 189 was on 7th of November, and it's been almost 4 months, 5 months since then already. So that's why also there's another factor. Now, Rahul, one question for you. So there's a lot
Yes.
of people who are getting the 407 refusals. So what's your opinion on that? Because as like you're meeting a lot of students who are not getting the review rights. So what's your opinion on that?
It's happening like quite common right now because the so if whoever is not aware, so generally what department does is when you apply for a 407 nomination and visa application, so firstly in any sponsor visa they refuse your nomination, and then t- uh, by default they have to send you the natural justice, which is section 57, and when you receive it, so they give you the time to whether you can withdraw your application or you can put a new nomination. But right now, maybe the case officers in the department they are new or they don't know, they are by like intentionally they are doing it. They are not sending this S57 request to the applicants and they are refusing the visa application on the same day. And if your visa application is refusing on the same day and your nomination review right is not aligned, so you will not get a review right. So that's a bit scary as well. And but yes,
That
migration
is a very scary
professionals
thing
are
for the
doing
client.
doing a
What do you
lobbying
think?
Mm,
against it.
Yeah.
So we've been in the touch with the department as well. There are other migration agents who raised this question to the department. So maybe immigration will come up with something and they might give them any solution to them. But you need to be very, very careful. And also like for 407, we are not seeing so many grants. We haven't seen recently so many grants for the 407
Okay.
holders as well.
Okay. True. True. Okay. So now very interesting question. So basically, Rahul, I think you can take this one. Talha Tahir, he messaged on basically Facebook. He's saying, "Hi sir, I received an subclass 190 invitation from NSW in the last round, but I had already moved to Western Australia in March and accepted subclass 491. I'm currently on bridging the A. I have a NSW photo ID, internet bill, declaration or rent, and salary slips on my name from the past 6 months. However, there's a 2 month gap in my NSW bank statement with no transactions or 10 to 12 small transaction in Perth. So,
So
basically,
firstly,
he
I
got
would
the
like to
invitation.
say
He
to
has already
Tala,
moved.
this
Yeah,
this kind of stuff you don't need to be discussed on the public platforms. I would like to
yeah.
advise you to book a consultation with us. And in one sense, I can say you congratulations as well. On other side, like your situation is bit different. We can
Okay,
discuss
let's
about
put it
your
like this.
case in
Okay.
detail as well. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, let's put it like this. So, Tala, let's do one thing. Tala, if you don't mind, just message APG and your number, and we will contact you right away. Okay, and you can and we'll delete your message as well. But we will help you. Let's see what can be done. Okay, we'll look into your document, and Rahul is expert in subclass 190 and NSW, so I think that's not an issue at all.
But
So you can, yeah. Rahul, can you tell
for
him
the
your
Tala
email
knowledge,
address?
yes, we will contact if you can send his email address, or we
So
will
I'll
contact
actually
you
write
after
your
the
email
call.
address. It's
Yeah. Yes.
rahul.d@asiapacificgroup.com. So Talha, I think the best thing would be you email your details to Mr. Rahul, and he will be able to assist you in terms of how you can manage it, if we can do it or not, or how do you need to sort it out. Because see, it's a very big opportunity. There's a huge difference between 190 and 491 in terms of what you get out of it. If you get the 491, you're stuck with 490 for the next 3 years. You won't be allowed to apply for the 190. But if you have the 190 option in your hand, and automatically you become a PR holder right away. And the recent trends are that time is very short. Are you getting a grant very quickly? So that's obviously something you have to manage. But I think the main question is what documentation we have. That's something we have to visually see and talk about. Please message Rahul, email him, and we'll take it from there. Okay, and
And
now guys,
also, like
anyone else have?
Usman, just before you move
Yeah,
forward, I want
yeah,
to say,
please,
like,
please.
so if anyone who is watching this live and whoever has recently received an invitation or their friends have received an invitation by, like, they have their own EOS, we can help you to lodge your visa application as well. So please contact as well on this.
Yeah, 100%. Like obviously, if there's anything we can help you with, we'll be happy to. So just email us at NSW, like New South Wales, NSW at asiapacificgroup.com. That's the email address. And so we have another question, which is basically Sonena Ram is asking, is an individual with work experience given more priority? So I think she's talking about NSW or 189, 190. So Sonena, the answer is um, yes, you do get more priority, but depends what you're applying for. So like in 189, the impact is not very great because obviously the way 189 is designed is it's pretty transactional, and ultimately what matters is the bottom line, like what's your end point. When it comes to states, let's say NSW, Victoria, different states, they do look at the soft factors as well, not just hard factors such as points. They do look at person who has a better salary, or let's say who has a job in their own field or something, because this is something I first realized a couple of years back. Like some of my clients were getting invited very quickly, some were not getting invited, even though both friends were at the same point. Now the difference was one of them had a relevant job and they just started, or me put it in the EY that he's working for XYZ Limited company in the relevant field. So it had not even completed 1 year. He had not even gotten the 5 points, but he had received the invitation before his friend who applied around the same time. So the only difference between them was that even though he does not have a 5 points for 1 year experience, but the person still had 6 months experience, showing that he's still working in the same field. So that does make a difference, right? So work experience definitely help. Yeah. So I think that's a interesting question, guys.
Especially
Anyways,
if it's in your own field, yeah.
correct. Yeah. All right. So I think in terms of basically, eh, I think we are getting some more questions. Guys, anyone who has any questions, please write to us. We'll comment it and we will try to answer it right away. Okay. Now, okay. So, okay. In the meanwhile, while anyone asking a question, I think it's good to have a good like open discussion about other occupations as well. So, guys. So, for example, something like, let's say, okay, let's talk about think of it differently. Anna, if you want to answer this, basically, if someone has done, let's say, someone is a doctor back in India, Pakistan, any country, or Philippines, they are a doctor, they done MBBS and stuff like that. Now they want to come to Australia, and we know that it's not easy to get the registration as a GP or a specialist in Australia because it takes years of experience and years of assessments and tests and whatnot. So now but they still want to study in Australia. So what do you recommend? Like what kind of course they can enter the country on the student visa, for example?
Audible?
Audible. You always have to do this, I guess. Yes.
So yeah, I would recommend the two best courses. First is Master of Public Health, or second is Master of Health Management. I believe these are the two courses which are relevant with their previous field, and it's more a generic course. So in that case, yes, they can get their visa granted.
Okay. So, how much, like, in terms of, let's say, if someone wants to pursue, let's say, public health, so how much time do they need to get the admission and everything? Like, what's the ideal situation? Let's say someone talks to you today. Let's say someone is in Philippines, and they say, "Anna, I want to come to Australia as soon as possible." So, what would you recommend to them? How soon they
Okay,
can
so the
come?
Okay, the turnaround applications, particularly from level 3 countries, which you have told Philippines, I would say it would be approx 15 to 20 days very easily. That is the conditional offer letter I'm saying based upon the
Okay.
academics. And up to the final GS part, it can take up to like 25, 30 days as well. Yep.
So, getting the admission. So, let's say someone get offer letter. And let's say someone ready to pay everything. So, how? So, so let's say 1 month is sufficient to get the COE.
Yes, 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 yes. Very sufficient.
Okay. Okay. And in terms of basically, on average, what kind of costs are they looking at for public health?
For if you're talking about offshore, correct?
Offshore, yeah, 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 yeah.
Offshore, yeah. So initially it would be like 14 to 15,000 per semester if I talk about uni.
Okay. And let's say someone comes to Australia and then decides to change to a cheaper university and they want a very cheap course. So, is there any, like, what's the lowest price per semester for a public health course?
We can offer $8,500 per semester.
All right, that's not bad. So basically, it is
Yeah.
affordable. It's just that obviously,
Yes,
but
yes.
directly apply for the university is going to be tough. Basically, that's
Correct,
the
correct,
main problem. Okay, fair enough.
correct.
Okay, now in
Osmans,
terms
I
of
just want
yeah,
to, because there is a one more common thing going on in the market right now. So what's your take on this? Like, let's say somebody is on a bachelor of any kind of a bachelor visa related to management or something, and their
hmm,
visa is being refused. Right now they are on ART, and while on pursuing the ART, they are changing their course, or they are like doing a trade courses. How the member will look for his case as you join
okay. So
ART meetings very
true,
frequently?
true. So it will be okay. So it will be looked upon very negatively. That's I think that's common sense, but obviously it will look very negatively if you look at the fact that
Because a
someone,
lot
let's
of
say,
agents are
got a
promoting
refusal.
it.
No, I know,
It's
I know. See,
actually,
it
yeah,
yeah,
it's
it
actually a
comes
breach of
down
visa
to.
conditions, right? So
Okay, so it depends. Okay, so I'll put it like this. So the thing is, if someone got applied for, let's say, did MPA or whatever, MIT in Australia, now they apply for MBA and they got refusal. Okay, now a lot of people, what they do is, this is very common. A lot of people, they maintain the course to win the case. ART, whenever it opens up, ART on average opens after 1 year, but it can open even after 1 month. So it's like it's kind of all over the place right now. But on average, let's say 1 year, safe to assume. So they can open it after 1 year. Now a lot of people, this is like the most of the people who would want to get the win the case and get the visa. Okay, the problem is a lot of people also don't care after that. Once they get a refusal, they appeal, they get a bridging visa for the entire period, and they just leave the course completely. They get the COE cancelled. So obviously, when you get the COE cancelled or you change the course and during this time, because some colleges are giving admission, obviously when the case officer will the member will meet you after 1 year at the hearing, they will ask you what are you doing right now, and they will look at your case and it will be looked upon very negatively that oh, you are doing something completely different. You sold us a story that oh, I'm doing this course because it's going to be helping my career or whatever, or back home you're to make a whole story, right? And suddenly you left it all for early childhood. Like, so the question will be like, so we were right to refuse you, right? So you still get a refusal. Now legally speaking, the all that member can do is they can give you another refusal. Okay, they can refuse you, and then you have to go to the federal court. So that means the cost will increase and everything. That's another thing. But you still be able to live in Australia on that same bridging visa. So that's but so a lot of agents, I think the reason they probably do is because they think that this way the student is in Australia for the longer stay, they can lose a case. The case and sometimes they purposefully students lose a case. They're, okay, fine, we lose a case. We don't care. We're looking at the bigger picture, meaning we want to get the PR. So someone, let's say, got a refusal for MBA. Okay, now they leave the next day. stop paying the fee and they go for early childhood. Now they go for early childhood. Obviously, it doesn't make sense. But if they do it, they know with early childhood they can get the PRA 70 points. Now, if this person, let's say from IT background or whatever, they have 80, 85 points already, it's like a no-brainer. They will get the invitation very soon, right? So that's why they do it. But again, it will have some impact on the visa application, but not a huge impact. Now, one thing we have to remember is that if you get a refusal, let's say Section 48 on you, you cannot apply for onshore applications for the 189. You can still apply for 190 and 491 onshore, but you can for 189 you do exit the country, apply and come back. And I've noticed I have had some clients whose visa got a little delayed. They were not refused, but they got a little delayed because they had a refusal in the past. So those kind of things we can see, but ultimately a lot of students, it comes down to their decision. Like they want to play like this, which I think is playing dirty, but it is what it is. Some people just want to achieve it at all costs. Some people
And
want
again,
to play properly.
just doing the trade course will not be a solution, because then they have to do the job ready program as well, and they won't have enough time to do it, because that whole scenario take 2 to 3 years, specifically for the students who are on ART.
But on the federal code you can get 2 3 years.
Yeah, on
Yeah,
federal
yeah.
code, the process is longer, so you can potentially,
And
get your
Usman,
PR
is
Yeah.
sorted
continuation of this,
technically.
so what's the trend right now? So ART, is it a 50-50? They're getting the grant of the visa, or so how is going on right nowadays?
So also with ART, the ART is very straightforward. Like I'll give you an example. Like last week, I think last of 10 days back, I don't lose cases on ART, but there's one case I lost in the record. I won one case in 7 minutes. That's my record win case. And I've lost one case in 3 minutes. That because the client did not even give the English examination for the 485 visa. So the member opened the file. They asked just one question: have you gotten any English examination recently or anything? The client had nothing. So they said, I know what to make a decision. Anything you want to add? We said, "We have nothing to add." So basically it was a refusal. They haven't sent it yet, but it's kind of obvious. So like within 3 months, the member was like, we don't want to talk anymore. They know what it is, right? So it's all about like, see, you don't see people play with the legal system. It's not recommended. You don't want to play with the legal system. You want to make sure you keep your case clean and proper, and make sure you get, because see, with following law, if you have a good immigration lawyer or good agent behind you, you don't need to play that. You can get the PR and everything you need to do very easily. You can buy more time legally and very properly. So you don't need to do these kind of tactics. That's the thing. So that's the thing. But
So
again, see the unethical behavior in the market. A lot of people do unethical things. So we can't judge them. But the all we can do is we can just make sure that we guide our clients in a way they don't have to go that such a pathway.
So according to his emotional factor makes any difference over there? If people go there like, yeah, I'm doing it, I have to be here or something like that, because
Uh,
people believes on this kind of a stories as well.
Not really. One case I can imagine it did work, but because his father was sick and everything, even though it was like a point blank refusal, should have been a refusal. I also agree, uh, but somehow he won the case. So there are cases like that. So, but it all comes down to how basically like the member as well, how they look at things. Because some are very straightforward. They don't want to play around at all. Some do take into account these kind of personal aspects as well. But generally, what I've noticed is the ART members are very fair, very professional, and they're very, I would say, they give you a fair chance. That's the main thing. Because for me, the only thing that matters is if a client got a refusal or something, even they know very well that their case doesn't make sense. But the main thing is, are their legal system giving a fair chance? Yes, they are.
Very informative, basically. If like that's why we always encourage people to join. If anyone would be here whose case on the ART, they would get some tips.
No, definitely. Anyone who has any ART case going on, please let us know. We can help you with that. Definitely. I think Miss Rabia is a specialist for ART. She's been, like I think all our ART cases she's handling right now. So I think she's doing well. So, okay. So so Rabia, now this is actually another question, because a lot of people, what they're doing is like a lot of agents I've noticed, like students come to me say that, my agent got a refusal for student visa and they applied the ART as well. Okay.
Mhm.
In my name, they applied the ART. They did not submit any evidence, anything at all. Just submitted. So, what do you think is better? Like, should we just submit the ART and wait for the hearing, or should we submit the like submission with all the proof and evidences at the start?
So this is normally in the ART, they normally will ask at Once they open the file, they will ask for evidence and all. So you should provide a proper submission at that time with evidence and all. You don't have to let it go to a hearing. You could actually end it at a submission if you have like an easy scenario where you can provide all the proofs and everything, and the case is in your favor. You can provide all the
Yes.
evidence, all the statement and everything, and that way you won't have to take your case all the way to a hearing. You could just win it easily beforehand. All right.
So Rabia,
So
so it can be done without hearing as well, yes? Just for the
yeah,
listeners.
yeah, definitely. It can be done without a hearing. It does not necessarily have to go to a hearing. So it depends on
Yeah.
your case scenario. If your
No, we
case
have
scenario
had
is a
cases.
bit
We had
tricky
cases.
and there,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'll give you one very obvious case. I had a client. This is a very old case. She got a refusal because TRA. Because so when okay, so now for people who are listening, so for 485 there are two pathways. One is for bachelor's and master's and higher education, and one is for the trade courses or let's say vocational courses. So for vocational courses, you need a skill assessment. At least the provisional skill assessment is required to get the 485 visa. So, but to apply for the 485 visa, you just need to have a submission, have the receipt, and you can use it to submit. Okay, but later on, 1 month later, 2 months later, they do ask you for the final assessment just to make sure that you've actually gotten a positive outcome or not. Now, one of my clients, she has some health issues, so she couldn't do it on time, and then the TRA delayed her case. So immigration sent two requests. We couldn't supply it. We keep asking for extension because TRA wasn't sending us it on time. So she got a refusal because of that. We submitted the ART. Now what happened was during this time she got the approval from them. So when we got the approval, they actually requested that now do you have it? We sent it to them. So we never even had to go for the hearing. We won the case well before it. So that they remitted the case. So it's all you don't have to actually sometimes fight as well. But again, see, depends on
yeah,
how clean your case is. But now
yeah. It
that brings me
depends
to
on
a
your
very
case
interesting
scenario and
question.
how easy it
Yeah.
is.
So that brings me a very interesting question. So guys, as you know, if you are an ART, you can do something like graduate diploma of early childhood. So, do you think it's advisable if someone is doing, let's say, they took a student, applied a student visa for MBA or some higher education course, and they got a refusal. Now they want to just close the course and go for graduate diploma early childhood. Is it worth spoiling your chances for ART? What do you think?
It depends. It depends on like, because the thing is, in one way, yes, it can impact on your case, because then department will read your GT statement. He will say like you have made the whole story about like master of business course, and right now you are studying early childhood. Over there, as you said earlier as well, it can impact the case. But yes, on PR perspective, let's say as long as you finish your course in time, you have a skill assessment, they can definitely apply for 119 491 within Australia, and for 189 definitely they can get a bridging visa B and go out. So yes, it's yes and no both, but yes, we have
Yeah.
to tailor the case to case, so clients needs to
And I
become to
think
the
they
office
can
and then we
also,
can discuss it.
yeah, and I also think they can try and maintain the level. Maybe once they're done with the grad diploma, they can try and get a master's COE as well for 1 year. Maybe Anna can advise us more about that, the admissions part, but it would be, useful for your eventually for your ART to at least be able to show that.
Okay, but there's also one another type of students who come to me and say, "Sir, I don't care about anything. I will not study. I'll just use this time to just work and make money." So, is that advisable? Like, if you don't have any COE?
I think if they want the student visa, then it's definitely not advisable. But if they
Okay,
just,
fair enough.
but they're planning to go back at some point, then yeah,
No,
Because
that
then it
that's
will
true.
be
That's
looking
true.
like they're just using the system to be maintain
yeah,
stay here,
True,
so
true,
that's
true.
not advisable from our side. But if you want to do it by
To each
yourself,
their
then
own.
it's
To
certainly,
each their own. But
yeah.
to each
obviously,
their
for
own.
our side, we want to make sure uh, we keep our clients and our associates
Yes,
as safe
because
as possible. We don't want to play
for
around too
me,
much.
for my clients, what I want, just use this time as a lifeline and use it in a very good way. Like it's not a end of the world, it's not the dead end. You can always come out of a different situation as well. But if you will just relax on this time, make money, definitely you will have to book your flight back ticket one day anyway.
That's very true. That's very true. Okay, so I think we have last 5-10 minutes left. So guys, anything you want to add? Anna, Rahul, Rabia, anything you guys want to add in terms of any message you want
So
to
I
give to the
thought,
audience?
why don't we have a little light discussion? The elections are coming up. Everybody's very anxious about it in terms of immigration. So Osman, do you have like an opinion about it? How do you feel about it?
See, whichever party wins, education migration going to be a little impacted. The only thing is, I think the way it looks like is like Peter Dutton, Liberal will probably be worse off for migration. But I think again, I don't want to discuss too much on that. I would just say that whatever happens, there's always going to be a way out for students and PR people who want to get the PR, whether offshore, onshore. There's always going to be some pathway. The only difference, in my opinion, would be that if the number was going down, let's say if they're inviting, let's say instead of 400,000 people, they're inviting 200,000 people. So the competition will go up. So then, more than ever, it is important, what are you studying? How valuable are you for this country? So, and that brings us back to our original question, like what should we study, or if you're like if you want to make ourselves attractive, what should we do? So do something like building construction, social work, teaching, nursing. You will always be in demand. You'll always be in need of the country. So rather than you doing accounting or IT and then getting frustrated that, oh, I'm not getting the invitation, I've got 90 point, 85 point. So rather than that, you become attractive. So it's like any job, for example. If I'm going to a interview, I will try to wear my best suit. I'll try to comb my hair, everything, because I want to give my best perception. I want to talk decently. I'm not going to be rude to the interviewer, right? Same way, uh, uh, you always bring your best foot forward. You don't try to just do bare minimum and then say, "Oh, this is how I am. You like it or not?" But the government will say, "Okay, fine, we don't like it." So that's why you have to give them what the demand is. So like, there's no wonder all our carpenters have gotten invited, all our teachers are getting invited, all our nurses are always getting invited. We hardly have any nurses left. They're pretty much all gone. So the point is, that's the thing. But if accountant, you're talking about you getting accounting and then you're frustrated. I see people writing on Pakistani, Indian, Filipino form. They, oh, I did MPA, I spent like $70,000 on a professional accounting degree, and then I can't get the PR. So I'm sorry, but it's not in high demand right now. And this is not a new phenomenon. It's been there for the last almost 8 years. So bad luck, but you knew what were you getting into.
And there are some new courses as well, just for the viewers' knowledge. So, like, there is a one course, Master of Agribusiness, Master of Agribusiness Informatic Management. There are also good courses if you can work into the similar field for 1 year after the study. Instead of doing just normal MBA, you can do that kind of course, and that will be bit unique as well.
True, true.
And they
True.
are
I think
available
the
in Sydney.
important,
They are available in Queensland as well. We have this course available. If anyone wants to query about it, you can do this. It will be a bit unique course.
yeah,
No,
that's good
that's good.
information. I think the important thing here for students, especially to realize, is utilize your time in Australia properly. That's the most important thing. A lot of them will leave things to the last minute, you know, at how do we do this? How do we manage this? Okay, we studied IT. How do we manage the funds? Utilize your time here. Once you're here, figure out, what's the best option for you,
And
what's your
they
long-term
are the
goals.
one, because I just reminded like Usman video, and it's like, oh, it happened to me. Why it happened to me? I think they are the one who always cries a lot as well. If you will not be
Yes,
well
we have to get
prepared,
out of the
so later
victim
on there
mentality.
will be no
Yeah.
one to build.
True, 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 very true. No, because see, the thing is, I've noticed this a lot, and it frustrates me as well. I'll give you an example. Actually, I think one of the last things we'll cover. So I just met one client yesterday. Now yesterday he was in last appointment for the day yesterday. Now this guy I met 3 years back in 2022. Even at that time, very few people knew about the graduate diploma early childhood education. Okay, at that time it was only available online for Victoria University, Melbourne, and there were not as many people doing it right now. There hardly as many people knew about it. It's very very hush hush, and it was one of the best occupation. We all knew that. Okay, it was like a best kept secret back in 2021, 2022, around that time. Now this guy, I checked my note yesterday. Like, okay, he came to meet me before as well. Okay, I checked the note. I mentioned him that try to do this and get the assessment. Now he stuck around with his occupation that I'll go with internal audit. I'll stick with that. He had the right English examination. He had the right score. He had everything. All he needed to do is just have. And even yesterday he was mentioning, oh, I do want to spend $20,000 to study this. The question is that if your occupation are not working, like there is a problem. Like if you know something is not working, trying it again and again and again is not going to change the outcome. That's madness, right? So if you know it's not working, and even took you 3 years, and even now and even now he had 3 jobs. With 3 jobs, he applied 3 different occupations. One was internal audit, one was management consultant, one was in information and organization professional, and he was annoyed, and he again same mentality. The better is screwing with me. I was like, how? He's like, well, when I apply for management consulting, they only give you 1 year experience. I was like, yeah, but you gave them only 1 year experience. So I'm like, obviously, if you're dividing your 3 years experience in 3 different companies into 3 different occupations, they're not gonna be the same. Internal audit is very different to management consultant. So question is like, if you make mistakes like that, obviously you can't blame VETSF. If you make mistakes like that,
Yeah.
you cannot blame the system. And you can't like
So
I felt really bad
Usman,
because
there
after
is
3 years, he's still not a PR holder. That's the sad part.
yeah, there's the one question I think Hasib Kram. It's a very interesting question as well, and
I can't see it. Can you take it?
it's all yes. So the question is like I for Hasib Akram, I have a question related to the second regional 485 visa. If I study online diploma from a college studied in metropolitan city on my first TR, then am I eligible for apply for a second regional TR? So
Okay.
my answer will be no. You will
Okay,
not
yeah.
be eligible to apply because on the requirement of the regional study visas is like you have to live and study while doing the course in the regional area. If you are number of people what they are doing and we met them very frequently, so they are studying into the
No, no, no. I
Wollongong
think sorry.
and
Sorry. His question is slightly different. I just realized he mentioned if I study online diploma from a college situated in metropolitan area on my first 485. So he's on a 485,
yeah.
and he has a course from let's say he studied from Wollongong, for example. And while he was on his first 485 visa, he studied an online course from, let's say, Melbourne or Sydney. Will he be eligible for the
Yeah.
second 485? Yes, you will be. You will be. Yeah. So I
Yes,
think
on
we
that scenario,
misunderstood the
yes,
question.
he will
Yeah,
be.
if
In there, yeah.
it doesn't
So
matter if it's an
yeah,
online course.
yeah. On the 485, you study something different. That's a different story. That's fine. That's not a problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you should be able to. Yeah. I think that's not a problem. So yeah. So that's it. So
But
anyways,
again,
I
like
think
just one
yeah.
more thing, people what they think is they studying in the University of Wollongong, they're working and living into the Sydney, so they are not eligible.
Sorry. Sorry, I missed
So
that.
there are number of students who are studying in the University of Wollongong in the Wollongong campus, but they are living
Yeah.
and working into the Sydney. So for
Oh
them,
yeah.
they
Yeah,
are
they are
not eligible,
definitely
and
not eligible.
And for
sometimes
that, I think
they
he's
don't
right to
even
cover
realize
this.
it.
Yeah.
What they yeah they do not realize this thing, and they come after 1 year or 6 months, and they say like we are doing this thing, so how I can apply for this? So for them, they are not eligible basically.
That's very good question point you raised, because this is I think Rahul, you must have met a lot of people like that as well.
A
Well, it's
lot
same
of
with
a
me, like,
lot of yeah.
and they
Yeah.
will get very confused, like why not? Like I study in a regional area, like yeah, but you're not
Not
living there.
only
This is
not
the
only they
concept.
lose like a second 485, also they lose 5 points.
5 point that, and
and
that I
and
think
if
that's a
they're
Yeah.
bigger
never going
loss. Yeah,
to and if they're never going to leave over the regional, so there is no benefit to doing the course from the University of Wollongong, then you can do it from the Sydney as well.
exactly, and save some money inside. Actually, there's no logic behind it. Yeah, so that's actually a very good point. This is very common, actually, very common. So, but the good thing is the question have reduced in terms of that thing. Like it used to be a big problem 2 years before, 3 years back, but nowadays people now more and more people know, finding this out. But still people are making that mistake. So that's why it's better to be researching about whatever you're doing before you actually do it. And there are people to help you. Like our education consultants are free, or give you free consultation. Doesn't hurt you, doesn't cost you a dime. Just come, talk to a consultant, walk into an office, talk to a consultant, and go. That's it, nothing more. And right now we are even running a free PR consultation offer right now. So for the Parameter branch it's till 15th of May, and for City branch it's 30th of May. For the whole month, so the City branch we'll have free consultations. So if you have any questions, you have anything like you want to discuss about your invitations, PR, partners, anything, come and discuss with us. Okay, so I think that's it from our side. I think it was interesting discussion today. So thank you so much, Anna, Rahul, and Rabia for joining. And I think this was interesting, and we'll just keep continuing this. And thank you everyone for watching. Take care. Bye bye. Have a good day.